Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review for you all, so hopefully you find this one interesting. This movie is an action film from South Korea, Korean language English subs, released in the year 2026, directed by Ryu Sang-wan, and this film is called Humint. So Humint is human intelligence, and we have secret agents from both South Korea and North Korea who are investigating something in Vladivostok in Russia, so the border. So we have human trafficking that is getting out of hand, and the South Korean agent is going to use some North Koreans in order to get information, but the North Korean agent is going to try and stop this. So it all adds up into a web of lies and betrayal, and what happens at that point on is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Humint. Although this movie isn't on the top tier of South Korean standard, it was still a very serviceable action film. So if you like your spy thrillers, then this is a movie that you could do a lot worse in. I'm not going to say rush out and see it, because it's not a film that's going to completely take you by storm, but it is a movie that's very serviceable if you don't have anything else to watch. And so the reason why it's serviceable is the true South Korean passion behind this project. It looks very, very crisp. The Vladivostok setting I thought was very mysterious. You have these spy agents where the web of betrayal and corruption keeps you guessing, and so a lot of characters are thrown into this film, and for the most part I was actually captivated by what was going on. The action set pieces are absolutely fascinating, very standard of South Korean cinema. You have a lot of violence in this movie that was quite hard hitting, and you also have that story to really back up the action sequences. So when action's not taking place, you're still really interested to see what was going on, and when a next action sequence takes place, it's evolved, and so the situation has become different and the stakes are higher. So it does have a strong level of suspense, and that was something that I liked. I actually really liked the characters as well. I thought they actually had a little bit of time and attention to them, which is very rare to see in an action film. With action, you actually want to see fast-paced explosions and shootouts, and it doesn't really require an attention span, whereas this movie does require that retention span, because it does actually have a story that they're actually trying to actually engage the audience. And so I really like that. If you have a really engaging story, really engaging characters, and you combine it with good action, it makes the action set pieces even better, because you have suspense thrown in there. So I really went on the ride, and I wanted to know how this movie was going to unfold, and I actually struck a little bit of sympathy for the North Korean side in this movie. So to paint someone, a country like North Korea, in a way where you can actually have sympathy for someone, I thought that was really, really well done. It would have been very easy for this director just to paint all North Koreans as just nothing but evil, but in this movie there is a character that I actually started to gravitate to, and that was something that I really, really liked. And so stereotypes are thrown out the window in this movie, and it just shows you what happens when betrayals are thrown in there, and the plot thickens, and all of a sudden these characters don't really know who they're fighting for anymore. And so that was something that was fantastic. I thought the script was very, very serviceable, and that was definitely how I felt about the whole film. It was serviceable. It wasn't anything brilliant. I'm not going to say go out there and see it straight away, but there's a lot of love behind it, and so it does it goes for 2 hours, and I never really felt it as though it outstayed its welcome, and so it promises a good time, and that's exactly what it delivers. And that good time, as I said, is because of the fact it pays attention to what a lot of other action films don't bother with, and that is characters, that is human beings that you can connect to. And if you can connect to someone and like someone, you have that sense of fear for them. Therefore, as I said, suspense and thrills are even more intensified. So at the end of the film, I thought, alright, well, this is a film that does have some generic and cliche moments, but as I said, it does have a lot of love behind it. Therefore, I'm going to highly recommend that you go out there and watch this film. So not on the top tier, but certainly a lot better than most. I'm going to give this film 3 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.